ready to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020. And before we get started with the show, live from Portland, Oregon, just a little reminder, if you finished second or third in the Mayhem Prediction Contest, I did email you a while back. I'll email you again, because again, I think somebody finished second had a Twitter name, but their Twitter name wasn't on Twitter anymore, or X, whatever we're calling it. So I'm going to follow up again today, so if you get another email, please respond with their choices. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but pay-per-views are coming up. I don't know who people want to push, de-push, sign, all that good stuff. But anyway, off to the show. So we got a kind of interesting start to the show tonight, as basically what happens is first out comes Kanyon saying, Frye, I want you in this damn ring tonight, because I'm tired of you getting involved of you trying to attack people, take out people, and being scared to get in the ring with me. Because nobody's better than Kanyon, and tonight I want to kick your ass and show that is exactly true. And then out comes, of course, Don Frye, along with Randy Savage. Savage is like, Kanyon, let me tell you something. I would be happy for my man, the Predator, to destroy you. But those officials aren't going to allow that, because they got a pay-per-view to sell. But if you can find a partner, he will be happy to give a little preview of what's going to happen to you at Halloween Havoc, without a doubt. Oh, yeah, brother. And then cue Sean O'Haire, who is about to actually, O'Haire comes down top of the ramp, has a showdown with Frye, they stand, face to face for a minute, before O'Haire says, Frye, my business is with you, but it can't be. See, Eddy is back there, and he's been talking for weeks about how he needs just one more shot in the ring, but every time he tries to say that, he fails. Eddy, you're a great wrestler, but you have to accept that I have you, okay? I figured out how to deal with you in the ring, and you want to think just because I'm a jacked up guy who looks like the type of guy that you think screwed you over, that you're better than me. When the reality is not. I'm a former world champion just like you are. And like minute 9, tonight, you want to team with Frye, me and Kanyon will, and boom, out comes Eddy, and he drills O'Haire from behind with a chair shot, and nails him again and again before WCW officials sort of pull him off, and obviously O'Haire is now out for the night. And as the officials started dragging them off, and Kanyon's like, come on, Frye, get down here, I'll kick your ass right now. Nobody's better than Kanyon. Raven Rain comes basically out from the back and says, my man Chuck Palumbo just got here, but he's ready for a tune-up and destroy somebody. So Kanyon, if you can get Goldberg on your side tonight, he'll be happy to team with Frye to kick your and Goldberg's ass, as a preview of what's going to happen to both of you at Halloween Havoc. So there you go, sort of wacky angle. Think we're going to go one way for a main event and then going with the other way. So there you go. This gets a 91. Again, little backstage stuff. I originally set this up angle as something else, but I realized as I was finishing up that I forgot to change it. So just sort of do off the rails. Anyway, so now just put over the big tag match. It's going to be Palumbo and Don Frye taking on Kanyon and challenger Bill Goldberg. So let's get to 91, solid stuff, and then we move forward to our opening match, which has Romeo Rossi defeating Ikuto Hidaka and Matt Sydal in 631, when Rossi pins Hidaka with the last kiss. This gets a 53. Fun stuff back and, this is just your opening high spots cruiserweight tag match. Sydal gets to fly around, Hidaka gets a kick in, where Sydal does is, cruiserweight US Pro style, and eventually, he actually, Sydal goes for a big dive to the outside, but Hidaka gets out of the way, hits a good kick on the inside, but Rossi has recovered from a, another move, and is able to drill Hidaka cleanly with the last place, 1, 2, 3, and pick the pinfall victory right here on Nitro. This gets a 53. Rossi gets Romeo gets a 58. Hidaka gets a 60. Sydal gets a 63. Thing for the lack of, pre-show stuff. Again, need to really get my, people and cruisers and tag match stuff going on. But solid match. Then, as Rossi is celebrating after just putting over his big win tonight, out comes Reckless Roberts, who, of course, Romeo, last week basically, I won't say turned on, but basically, that he was going to work for him anymore. Tracy is, pushing Roberts to go on the attack. But then somebody jumps in the ring, unknown to WCW fans, and he comes in and he goes after Roberts, throws him in the ring, helps Romeo up, and then, the two hug, and it seems like these two men know each other, and they walk to the back as the announcers try to, say that Jeremy Borash is going to try to find Romeo Rossi and his seemingly new ally. And this gets a 44. And again, just a reminder, this was originally going to be somebody coming up from Developmental, but they got injured, so this is sort of a thing I'm throwing together. There's something else going on with Romeo, but, this is something new, and I figured I sort of came up with the angle when I had available people for my dev roster, so there you go. Anyway, moving on. We have sort of like a video segment, which basically starts off with footage from Memphis of various cage matches, that we have, probably literally whatever video is available at the time. And then we have a voiceover say, lots of people think, because of what I do and how I get my wins in the ring, that I've never had a real fight. That I was always this spoiled kid with a silver spoon rising up to the top of the ranks in wrestling. Nothing more could feel than true slapnuts. You see, I was born in the place that created hardcore in professional wrestling. Cue segments of pile drivers on tables, blood, fireballs, the Tupelo concession brawl, all that fun stuff. And Jared continues, you see, it was real hardcore. Men fighting men who were real talented professional wrestlers, not dorks in bingo halls doing this brawling because it's the only thing they could do. Men like Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler, Dutch Mantel, and others, like my father, did it because that's where the tensions got in the ring. A few more segments. So, Brother Ray, you think just because you sent some people through tables, because you brawled through a crowd a few times, slap nuts, that you can kick my ass and just walk away. Well, I'm here to remind you that I've battled against men who are much better than you ever were. Slap nuts, I'm going to prove that you're nothing but a bingo hall bastard, and that I'm the leader of the chosen few in professional wrestling, and you're just a guy who should go find his tag partner again. So there you go, big promo, setting up the cage match or reminding people of Jared's background if they don't know. And, he's still a heel here because he's going after a babyface, but a little, hey, he's not a total, shit, total chicken shit heel. So 86, good stuff as we move forward. And then we have Alex Wright's first match as he turned heel a couple weeks back on his former partner Desiree and Chavo, and he gets Reno in the ring, and this is just a complete domination. Reno gets a little bit of power moves in right at the start, but Reno, Wright eventually out wrestles him, hit a few suplexes, hits a double arm DDT, but instead of going for the pinfall, walks in the SDF, and for nowhere to go, Reno has to tap out. This gets a 56, Wright gets a 76, Reno gets a 58. Perfectly, this is just a complete squash match. No storyline or anything, just Wright, kicking ass. And then after the match, he takes the mic and says, for weeks, people have asked me why I turned on my supposed best friend, Chavo Guerrero Jr. or Tajiri. And the reality is, these men were never my friends. They are getting my way. Just like Perry Wilson was getting in the way of my talent, these men were trying to keep me from what I should be, which is the top of the professional wrestling ring. You see, Chavo, we were a good team because I carried you. Just like your uncle carried you before. And Tajiri, you're a waste. I am the top of professional wrestling, the elite of professional wrestling. And now I finally have nothing in my way to show my true greatness, prove I am the Das Wonder greatest wrestler in the world. And no one can stop me. And as Wright is, kind of this promo, out comes Tajiri, and, Wright's, sort of ready for him. But, Tajiri does, a sort of false kick, and then as, Wright goes to block it, miss right in the face from Tajiri on Wright, as the crowd pops, and it looks like Tajiri is coming out to get his revenge on Wright for him and Chavo, who's, still injured from being taken out by Alex Wright. So let's get to 76, solid stuff, building up, the feud. And then we go backstage where Shane Helms and Titus Tomko are, shown talking to each other. Tomko, well, really it's more Shane Helms ranting about not getting a chance. This shows the continued conspiracy against me, the greatest and nicest champion of all time, and the man who could have been the greatest world champion. And then he walked into Flair, Blaster Lashley, and Cesaro. And there's sort of a stare down, and Flair says, brother, I heard you talk about being the greatest world champion of all time there, and you know you're forgetting about one man, the Nature Boy. 16-time world champion. You think just because you're world champion for a couple months, you're even close to my greatness? And Helms is like, look, man, I don't want nothing. I was just talking to my partner here, a man who has backed up presidents, kings, prime ministers, and dictators. So just stay out of our way. And Flair's like, you're talking about some bodyguard? I got two of the greatest, youngest wrestlers in the world today. So if you want to go to fight, these men are ready for a war. And Helms talk with just, Helms just sort of like looks up, looks at Lashley and Cesaro, says, I don't want to deal with this, and walks away as Tomko shares a look, and Flair, is ready. It looks like we have maybe a little bit of feud here. Who knows? But let's get to 67. Fun stuff as we move forward. And then we have our continuing to build up the big WarGames event that was announced last week, as we have Raven and Mesias teaming to take on Killswitch and Wrathchild, and this is just a complete brawl from the start. Like, the referee sort of, I don't say ignores the rules, but knows that it's useless to try to get those involved. So we got chair shots, we got a table trying to get involved, we got cookie sheets, we got a kendo stick, and eventually what happens is it's a brawl. Mesias gets to look strong, throwing people around. Rothschild and Killswitch work on Raven for a bit, but Mesias comes in with the, sort of like babyface run-in, babyface monster run and throw people around. Eventually, kick, wham, even flow DDT on a chair onto Killswitch, and 1, 2, 3. Raven's Nest picks up the victory over two members of the Deadpool. This gets a 70. Raven gets a 72. Mesias gets a 78. Killswitch gets a 72, which is better than I thought, honestly. And Rothschild gets a 56. And of course, as you expect, the brawl continues as Kai Graves comes out and goes after Mesias, and then that allows Morgan to come in and go for a fireball or something she's going to throw. But Raven actually looks like he's going to throw a fireball at the one Morgan, but Morningstar attacks him before he can do that, and the just fight is continuing before WC officials run in, and Eric Bischoff comes down and says, "This is what I'm talking about. You guys have 2 weeks until WarGames when you can finish this, but here you are causing chaos again. I didn't want to do this because me and this man don't have the best relationship. Next week, I'm going to have a special announcement about somebody who can keep control of all of you in WarGames." And Bischoff walks away, setting up next week. There's going to be an announcement about a referee, troubleshooter, somebody who will help keep things from being complete chaos at WarGames. And this gets an 88 because Bischoff is good and everybody's building up. So there we go, fun stuff. And then we cut backstage where Joanie Laurer has caught up with not Romeo and his new friend, but Austin Aries. And Borash first asks him if he's seen them, and Austin Aries is like, "Why are you asking me where Romeo is? That pissant is getting you in my way of getting another shot at the Cruiserweight Championship. Because I am the greatest wrestler in the Cruiserweight division, even if I don't have the title, Borash. So go find the man of the minute. Well, I'll be the man of the moment." And Borash is like, "So you don't know where he is?" Aries just sort of looks at him, stares him down, and walks away. This gets to 55, blowing up Aries because he hasn't been on TV the past couple weeks, but he still, should be a solid part of the Cruiserweight division. Fun stuff. And then we have Ken Anderson coming out of the ring and saying, "Look, I'm the television champion, and Bischoff said he was going to have an opponent for me this week. And I don't want to be an asshole here, but I'll be an asshole and says, I want some damn competition. Someone get out here and get your ass kicking." And out comes Simply John and Devine and says, well. You see, we were talking backstage, and of course, the Magnificent One, Mark Newdreck, has already been TV champion, and Jeff is busy for main event. So, of course, who better than a chosen few to take that TV title from around your waist? Anderson says, "I don't know anything about a chosen few. You're just a chosen damn fool if you're in this ring with me." And the match is on. This gets a 76, building stuff up, and the actual match gets us a 68. Okay, fun stuff. Just pretty solid, no storyline, which honestly I just forgot to add one. Back and forth match. Divine gets to get his high flying moves and the couple quick dives. Getting whatever his finishes for a near fall. But Anderson puts his foot on the ropes. But Anderson eventually takes advantage to a few big moves, then overpowers Divine, hits the Kenton Bomb, and makes defense number 5 of his World Television title, which gets us a 68. Anderson gets a 72. Divine also gets 72, but no storyline, so that locks it down. But fun stuff here on Nitro. Eddie Anderson celebrates his first successful defense on WCW Nitro here in Portland, Oregon, which gets a 74. Good stuff. And then we cut backstage where Hank Toland and Ray Pullen are with Dawn Marie, and they seem to be upset at Marie as Dawn's trying to explain, look, I've been trying to talk to Bischoff, but he's always telling me there's too much stuff going on, things are too busy, and there's nowhere for you guys to be on Nitro's pay-per-view. And Toland steps in and says, look, Dawn Marie, you helped us a lot, but you've been failing on the job recently. Are you telling me that Eric Bischoff really can't find any spots for the sexiest man in WCW and the biggest international star, rising international star in the business today? Are you really saying that? And Don's like, look, I'm trying. And Ray Leppan says, are you really trying though? Because, look, you did whatever you did with that Romeo guy, and you had him in the 6-man we lost. And then we've been treading water. So Don, you have shape up, or we're going to ship you out, because me and Tank are the biggest rising stars in the business today, and Eric Bischoff is going to have to acknowledge it, with or without your help. And Don's like, fine, I'll get you guys something on the show. So a little tension between, a little trouble in paradise here as this gets to 62. And then we finally have during Borash, catching up basically at the outside door as Romeo is with his two man, and Borash is like, okay, Romeo, who's this friend of yours, and why did he help you out tonight? And, Romeo's like, look, this is our personal business. And then the other guy says, no, Romeo, look. For the past couple of months, I've been watching on TV a guy I grew up with, that I walked the streets with, that I partied with, that I went to school with and everything, acting like a total idiot. Romeo is not some Roman gladiator. He's not some guy who's a lackey for another guy who's disappeared. He's a guy who grew up on the shore like me, partying hard, working hard, fighting hard. And he needs to be reminded of that. Because the thing is, in this business, you got to focus on this business, not other things. So we got to do 3 things to get back on the right path, and I'm going to remind him of that. Gym, tan, wrestling. And then you walk away as Warsh looks confused. Yes, I'm doing sort of a Jersey Shore knockoff gimmick here. But this gets a 34 because none of these guys are over or honestly great things. So backstage stuff, again, there's another guy who's going to be pushed as sort of the cruiserweight face of the moment since Seidel's got shots. But he got injured, so he's out for a couple months, and I'm not using him. And I remember that Sanarelli was sort of in our dev territory, and Romeo's sort of works well with their background. So there we go. And this is surprisingly in tune for mid 2000s culture. So there we go. Gym, tan, wrestling. I know it's dumb, but it's wrestling dumb. So there we go. And then we have a big 6-man match with the entrance put over as a preview of 2 big matches here at Halloween Havoc, as it's the U.S. Champion of Truth teaming up with your tag champions Hardy Boys take on their contenders, Mike Awesome, the former U.S. Champion, and Ninkyo. The entrance put over, of course, Mike Awesome is as long as you pay him, he'll back you up, and kicking off the Truth is just a bonus. And this match is just a wild damn brawl. This is just a fight from the start. There's no control almost from the beginning from the referee. Hardy's flying around, the Truth brawling, Awesome throwing people around, Kaz throwing kicks like hell, Yang flying around. There's lots of near falls late in the match. Yang hitting a big kick, Yang hitting his big Yang Tang moonsault on one of the Hardy Boys, but Jeff, on Matt, but Jeff coming in for the save. Twist of Fate, Swanton Bomb on Yang, but Awesome comes in, throws people around. Truth comes in, starts brawling with him. Truth hits a few of his big moves, but eventually things brawl to the outside, and the ref eventually calls for the bell, calling it a double count out, as this match is just too chaotic for anything to happen, as it gets a 90 overall, because all these guys are really good. Yang gets a 66, Kaz gets a 97, Jesus Christ. Mike Awesome gets a 90, Matt Hardy gets an 83, Jeff Hardy gets a 97, the Truth gets an 83. Fun stuff. And then as we continue the post-match brawl, we have Truth going for actually table spot on Awesome, but Awesome getting out of it and actually hitting a big boot and a attempted powerbomb that Truth gets out of before officials break them apart. But then we cut to the stage where Jeff Hardy has climbed to the top of the Nitro sign, on top of the entrance area, because of course he has, and he hits a big dive on basically Kaz, Yang, and his brother, taking out all 4 men as we cut to commercials, as this gets an 81. fun stuff, building up the big pay-per-view matches. And then we have our Revolution recap, of course, focusing on the big world title match between Chuck Palumbo and Ray Jr. at Revolution. And then we have Goldberg's entrance, as the announcers put over. Goldberg has been very pissed for the past week after what happened last week with Chuck Palumbo, and he's ready to go to war against this man. And that got 68 just because it's a quick 2-minute segment. And then we have the actual match, which, okay, sounds about right. I mean, not enough selling. I mean, you have Chuck Palumbo, who's a former Power Plant guy, Don Frye, who's an MMA guy. I mean, Kanyon's probably the only guy really selling here, so that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, this is just your very typical top tier, main event tag match. Everybody gets their spots in. Palumbo, Frye, Goldberg, Kanyon, all coming in, brawling and fighting. Frye trying to take down Kanyon in submission holds. Goldberg and Frye actually having a fun little, throwback to their feud earlier this year. Goldberg hitting his MMA style throws on Frye. Frye coming back with some brawling. Palumbo coming in and attacking Goldberg. Kanyon coming in and fighting with Palumbo. Have they had a match? Maybe, maybe not. I forget. Anyway, Palumbo going after Kanyon, back and forth, but eventually things break down. Palumbo actually nails Goldberg from behind and throws him to the outside, and starts fighting with him, going for a beatdown. And then on the outside, Frye turns around right into a Kanyon cutter from Kanyon. 1, 2, 3. A big pinfall victory for Kanyon here in the main event of Nitro. This gets an 86. Kanyon gets a 96, Goldberg gets a 94, Don Frye gets a 67, Palumbo gets an 89, and yeah, fun stuff. And eventually, Kanyon slips out of the ring before Frye can get an advantage, and then the fight comes back in, and what happens is Palumbo goes for the full throttle, Goldberg blocks it, hits his gut wrench suplex type move, then hits a big spear, but Palumbo is close to the edge of the ring, so he rolls out. Sort of stumbles through. Rain is helping him get up to the top of the ramp. Goldberg chasing after him. Rain actually gets on the bike first. That's at the top of the ramp. Palumbo gets on as well, and they ride away as Goldberg's at the top of the ramp, very pissed as the show ends, which gets us a 99. So again, Goldberg still chasing after Palumbo, trying to get his revenge, as we're 2 weeks out from Havoc. And 90, really good show. Again, yeah, I'm working in a place where even on Nitro, there's limited space for folks. That thing about what's the word I'm looking for here? Not having space for Heart Legacy not on the show, Evolution it's very tough if I'm going there's only so much time. Unless I'm gonna do a lot of 3-minute matches, which honestly probably do, or extend to 3 hours. It's getting kind of rough, and honestly, why I maybe wish I did a softer split than I actually did, because this is I don't say it's getting tougher than it should be, but it's kind of rough at times, getting people on the show. I'm thinking about doing maybe some trades to Revolution, or restructuring when the next draft comes up, because Nitro did get sort of overburdened. I mean, with I don't say too much talent, but lots of talent. So okay, oof. My God. All right. I might have to actually look at CML's money, because they should not be dealing with this. Anyway. Morningstar thinks. I mean, yeah, he's good. I'm just not super pushing him at the moment. But yeah, thanks, Morningstar. So Raw. Okay. Oh, right. Oh, I forgot to check this. So Nitro got us a 2.75, and Raw got a 2.94. All right, so they had, let's see here, Amber James, Veronica Vane defeated Elizabeth Love and Jamie Keys in a 67. Viscera and the APA defeated Fit Finley, Adam Jacobs, and Melly Smooth by DQ. Okay, sure. DDP defeating Crash Holly in a tables match in a 65. Jericho defeating Charlie Haas in an 88 in a squash match. Big Show defeating Rick Steiner and Vampiro in a 77. And Edge and Kurt Angle defeated Skyfall, Cable Ion, and Punk, your former tag champs, in a 97. Let me just see here. I mean, Punk's hitting 79, so yeah, he's getting there. It's interesting, Punk's a quasi-main event guy, while John Cena's still in Death territory. But yeah, that's it for the moment. Oh, what's sneaky? Oof. Oh, why is oh my God. W officials tried to anonymously leak a story that M-Pro has pro-Nazi sympathies. What the hell, Vince? Jesus Christ. Okay. Sure. That's just hilarious. Anyway, as a side thing, so for Havoc, we basically have the WarGames match, which I don't have set in pre-booking yet because there's a fourth guy who's signing for the Ravens team, but we have Ninkyo versus Hardy Boys for the tag titles, Awesome versus Truth for the US title, Keenan versus Don Frye, Eddy versus Sean O'Hare. It's sort of a rematch. Brother Ray versus Jeff Jarrett in a cage, and Chuck Palumbo versus Goldberg for the title. There are, of course, be other matches added, but that's it, sort of like our big setup for the pay-per-view. And I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. And welcome everybody to Revolution at the beautiful State Mart Center in Fresno, California, in front of 16,000 people. And the show starts off with Joanie Laurer coming down to the ring to a big pop from the crowd and saying, Nikita Kalt, you think you deserve a chance to win championship. And here's the thing. There's this guy, maybe happy to give you a shot, but you still need to go through me because I am the evolution in women's wrestling. So get your ass out here and let's have a match. And Nikita Kalt comes down to the top of the ring and says, look, Fraulein, I am happy to take you apart and prove you're nothing but a fraud. So, when this match is over, remember, you're the one who asked for it. And here we go, 96, really good stuff, building things up as we move forward to the actual match, which starts right now. So, fun stuff. So basically, back and forth match, it's these two women actually have gotten pretty decent. Laurer honestly is getting a little worse because I think she's sort of maybe not hit time decline, but then else going on, and she's not quite as super over as she was when she came over here from WWE. But yeah, fun. Basically it's Laurer playing babyface powerhouse against Kalt playing, under a slightly undersized, technical heel. So kicks to the knee. Takedowns, using their to her advantage, big suplexes to sort of take Laurer down, but Laurer comes down with brawling, fighting. Joanie goes for her big powerbomb, but Kalt turns it in, sort of rolls through into a hold. Then, near the end of the match, Gail Kim comes down the ringside, and that actually, distracts Joanie just enough for Kalt to come from behind, hit her with a quick sort of knee to the back of the head, sort of like a springboard knee to the back of the head, roll Joanie into a crucifix, hold the tights, and get the pinfall victory right here on Revolution, as this gets a 79. Joanie gets a 77, Kalt gets an 81, and Kalt rolls out of the ring as Joanie is, recovering. Oops. I totally... Hold on. This is the match. Big main event. Yeah. Hold on. I need to double check something. So yeah, I did things backwards. So what was supposed to happen is that, that graphic for basically the main event of RVD and Monty Brown versus Ray Jr. and AJ Styles was a big tag team main event later tonight. But before that was going to happen, Gail Kim and Allie Danger were supposed to come out and as Joanie was recovering, Allie Danger was supposed to roll in front of him, nail her with the single hurricane a couple times, and Gail Kim was to roll in, hit the defeat on Joanie Laurer, and then she's supposed to basically, yell to Joanie, I'm the head bitch in charge here, and that was just a reminder. So it seems like we have got a new feud here, as, Joanie is sort of being shuffled off the main event. Women's feud into a feud with Gail Kim and Allie Danger. So fun stuff as this gets a 75, and we move forward here on Revolution. Then we have a backstage promo where Shelton Benjamin is with Booker T, and Booker saying, tonight, Lance Storm, sucker, you've been playing with my buddy Shelton here, and he's a rising star, but I am a star. I'm a six-time world champion, and we battled before, and Storm will battle again, and Billy Kidman, if you want to get your ass involved, I'll be happy to kick your ass too, sucker. So we get that ring, reminder that I don't play, and this is my ring. Can you dig that? So solid promo from Booker, getting a 79, only 4 minutes, so that's probably why I didn't hit quite the heights, but sort of building up a big match as a sort of feud between Booker and Shelton with the former Triumvirate, because there's only two of them, the Duumvirate, whatever you want to call them, continues as this gets a 79. Fun stuff. And then we have our, wow, okay, this gets 100 because you guys are really over. Basically, babyface promo time from Ray Jr. and AJ Styles. AJ Styles puts over and he's the cold shot winner. And Monty Brown, you want to get involved in my business? That's fine. I have to take you in that ring. And Rob Van Dam, I just have a lot of respect for your man, but, that bastard Heyman got in your ear, and now you're doing whatever he says, seemingly. And Ray's like, RVD used to be partners. We were almost World Tag Team Champions. And it's sad what's happened to you in the past couple months. But that just means in that ring, I'm going to kick your ass and show you what you should be doing in this ring. As I got the biggest rising star in the business today beside me. And all you got is that Monty Brown. And look, Monty, you're big and bad, but it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog, man. So let's get ready for a war. 100, solid babyface promo from both guys, putting over the big tag match later tonight. And then, alright, so we have a fun little match here as Sonny Starkey takes on Dean Malenko, and Malenko just might be not worth it to use in the ring anymore. Because, like, it's not terrible stuff, but it's not good stuff either. So back and forth match, solid, like, not really storyline. But Siaki does a little bit of cheating and gets the pinfall victory here. And, just a solid undercard, well, not really solid, just an undercard match. Siaki goes over, Siaki gets a 59, so he's doing okay. Dean Malenko gets a 49. And then after the match, he celebrates like he just won the title in over top way. As however, he did get a big win here over a former cruiserweight and U.S. champion, but, it's just a win, not the end of the world. 52, again, Keenan sort of like cocky over the top thing as we move forward here on Nitro, not Revolution. And then we're backstage as Amy Weber is with Angel Foxx, and Amy Weber, asks her about, what happened last week when she, cost Lexi James a big max on Revolution. And Angel Foxx is saying, I thought I had a sisterhood. Lexi, Lizzie, I thought we were together for the long term. Rising to the top of this business and create a women's division that actually matters. But it turns out you two women were just out for yourselves and thought you could kick me to the curb and I wouldn't come back. That I'd walk away with my tail between legs and do nothing about it. Well, you're just forgetting what kind of blonde bitch I can be. So, Lizzie, Lexi, you're getting nothing done in this division without going through me first. Because I am a 21st century Fox. And in this business, I'm going to rise to the top once again. Remember, I was a former women's world champion, and I can do that again. But first, Lexi, Lizzie, I'm going to kick your ass. So 76, solid babyface promo from Angel as, she's turned face, and now she's feuding with her former partners in Captivation. And then we go backstage, where Monty Brown is with Rob Van Dam, Paul Heyman. This gets a 96, good stuff. As Monty, is pacing around, doing his pretty much Monty Brown stuff, and, talking about, Ray and AJ just being his next victims. He's going to run them over. They're going to face the pounce. Then Rob Van Dam is like, just calm down, man. We can do this. Look, I'm the number one wrestler in the business, and you're like number 2 or whatever. Cool, but just calm down, man. And Monty's like sort of faces up, and then Paul Heyman steps and says, look, my client Rob Van Dam is happy to be your tag partner tonight. That means we have to be partners. Because Monty Brown, you're an elite athlete, one of the best in the world, alongside my client Rob Van Dam. And tonight, we can take apart the myth of AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio Jr. tonight. We have to work as a team. Are you ready to do that? Monty Brown nods. Rob Van Dam, cool, man. And, looks like the heels are together, at least for tonight, as this gets a 96. And then we have a fun little backstage segment as Hardys are here, your tag team champions. AMW step up to them, and Hardys look like they're nervous, but AMW are like, no, it's totally cool. Look, when you get a shot, we get another shot of those tag titles. But we just want to wish you luck at Havoc. Hope you kick Ninkyo's ass, I don't know. They're talented wrestlers, but Stacy's got in their head, and it's all sorts of weird stuff. And Hardy's like, we're glad, and look, just talk to Teddy, win your matches, do what you need to do. And, Amy Weber comes over and, says to Jeff and Matt, are you guys ready for your pre-tape? And Jeff says, yeah, give us a minute. And Trevor Slater, who's of course hanging out with AMW, sort of tips her cap to Amy. Amy sort of, smiles and walks off, and hey, came that little fun little angle. We'll continue the AMW Hardys tension as it gets a 73. And then we have ODB coming down to the ring to a pop. She says, I'm here to make my mark in the women's division, and that means I need to get in the ring and kick some ass. So I want somebody to come out here and get in this ring to face this old, dirty. And then out comes Desiree Dawkins, as the crowd finishes up for ODB, and she says, "Look, I'm the hottest working star in the women's division, and you think just because you came in, because you're buddies with the social scene and everybody else, you can rise to the top without getting my way? No way. I beat you before all around this area, and I can do it again, ODB." ODB says, "Fine, let's fight." And the match is on, and it looks like we got a fun little tag singles match. And these guys are 73 because they're more over in the Southwest because that's where our women's dev fed is. So there we go. And this gets a 66. So fun little back and forth match. Again, a little better than it should be because we're in the Southwest. Crowd pops, they know it. It is what it is with TEW. But just basically just a fun little it's a brawling ODB. Dawkins doing her sort of spark plug heel, annoying heel shtick. Eventually, ODB takes over, hits a few big moves, and eventually hits her finisher, which I forgot, to get the big pinfall victory over Desiree Dawkins right here in Revolution. As this gets a 66, ODB gets a 64, 54, Desiree Dawkins 67, and as ODB is celebrating, out comes Ellie Danger, and they fight to the back, as it seems like Ellie Danger is still pissed at ODB, got the big win over her, and they just continue to fight, as this gets a 62, and this feud must continue. And then, okay. Alright. 4 minutes is too long for Keith Walker fighting. That's unfortunate. Alright, so we cut to a backstage segment where Keith Walker is waiting along Troy Wilson in the fighting pit, and then the lights go out in the fighting pit, and we hear some struggle and some crashes. And when the lights come back on in the fighting pit, they shudder and shimmer back on, Keenan Sharpe is kicking the crap out of Keith Walker, as Sharpe says, "The path is about taking it every advantage. You think I was just going to walk in here and fight you one-on-one? You're an idiot, Walker. You will walk the path behind me, or else." And Tori Wilson tries to take Sharpe off her, and Sharpe pushes away, and she takes a bump, and Walker's left laying. Sharpe is hits a few former Muay ticks and says, "Everyone will walk the path." As it gets a 59. Again, Walker is supposed to be not fighting. I should have made rated on something else, but it is what it is, as this sort of wacky feud continues. And then we have a quick little promo from Paul London. He says, "Past couple months have been interesting for me here in this company. Rob Van Dam, I tried my best, but he was just a little bit better than me. But I know I can be at the top of this company. So next week on Revolution, I'm going to face somebody in that ring. I don't care if they're a friend, they're an enemy. I want to get in that ring and prove myself to be the top of Revolution." So just sort of an open challenge by London, and this gets a 74. Then, okay, this was honestly probably better than our main event is going to be. Well, no, actually it might not, because three of those four guys are really good, and Monty is actually pretty solid. But just a really, this is just, honestly, this good, these guys had good matches on pay-per-view. Not pay-per-view, but in WCW 2001. Storm's honestly a little better now. Booker's maybe a little worse, but still very good. And this is just a very good back and forth, high impact US Pro style match. Storm hitting his super kicks, trying to lock Cable Maple Leaf, Booker T fighting back, spinaroonies, block bookends, eventually maybe going even for the Houston Hangover, but Lance Storm getting out of the way, locking the Maple Leaf, Booker getting to the ropes, back and forth fight. But eventually Booker, of course, is a 6-time world champion like he likes to mention, and hits the bookend and gets the pinfall victory here right on Revolution over Lance Storm, as it gets an 87. Booker T gets a 79. Lance Storm gets an 87. Is Booker T being hurt by anything? Storm's fatigued. Oh, right. I need to maybe change Booker's gimmick. Anyway, back, and then Booker actually gets out of the ring as Kidman comes in for the attack, and he sort of cockily points his head before pointing at Kidman. It seems like this feud is not quite over yet between these four men, as it gets a 76. Fun stuff. And then we cut backstage, where Teddy Long is with the women's tag team champions, Nikki Radcliffe and Andy Vidal, and Teddy Long says, "Playa, I just want to get this straight. Even though they lost, you still want to give a tag title shot to Captivation." And, Nikki Radcliffe says, "Yeah, we're here to prove we're worthy tag champions, and we're ready to fight anybody. So if Captivation are that upset, we're ready to take on the ring." Taylor's like, "I understand that, but people got to earn their title shots here in Revolution. So here's the thing. Angel Foxx, she has some problems with Captivation. You women do as well. So next week, 6-woman tag match. Captivation has to find a partner, and you team with Angel Foxx." Nikki Radcliffe and and Vidal agree, and we got a match set up for next week as it gets a 72. Fun stuff, probably helped by Teddy Long. Then we have our rent to recap, of course, focusing on the main event and everything else. Then we have our main event, which hopefully will be pretty good. 85, okay. Oh, Monty Brown and my chemistry luck is just not the best. But yeah, okay. So honestly, this sort of works because as Monty keeps on trying to get in his ring, Rob Van pushes him off. Then RVD tries to tag himself in, and they just don't work as tag partners. But here's the thing: Monty Brown and RVD, both really good professional wrestlers, and that's the thing that works out for them here. As you know, RVD flies around. AJ Styles does his AJ Styles stuff. Rey Mysterio Jr. is Rey Mysterio Jr. And these are three of the best workers in the world. Monty Brown isn't chopped liver either. He gets to do his power stuff. I'm sure he gets the pounce on both men, but the other guy makes a save. Eventually, things break down, and the chair gets involved. Van Daminator, 5-star Fox Splash on your holder of the cold shot, AJ Styles, as Monty Brown tosses Ray Jr. around so he can't make the save. 1, 2, 3. Big heel victory for Monty Brown and RVD here at Revolution as it gets an 85. Ray Jr. gets a 95, AJ gets a 94, and then because of chemistry issues, RVD gets 76, Monty Brown gets 67. But still a really solid match here on Revolution. And overall, the show itself gets a 90 still. Okay, so good stuff. So yeah, Claudio. So not our greatest show ever there, but really good stuff. And these guys are going to we're leading up to a big we're leading things up as everything rolls up. Unfortunately, Revolution doesn't have another pay-per-view by itself. But Starrcade, Bound for Glory November, and a lot of fun stuff. So and of course because of no pay-per-view, there'll probably be actually some big matches on TV. Let me just make sure that's not anything, guys. In the words of I'm sure many bookers have dealt with Jeff Hardy. Fuck. Okay. Okay, so here's one. Let me look at this. Man. Okay, so this kind of changes my booking plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to find them, and we're basically, yep, okay. And that's a spoiler, but Jesus Christ. Okay, that tells me what I need to do for the pay-per-view, unfortunately. What am I going to do with you, Hardy? See, that's what I mean. You get friggin' 97s in matches, and then, hey, you show up for a segment on Revolution, and you're on drugs. God damn it. Anyway, SmackDown. SmackDown was not a good show. We had Jerry Sykes versus Jerry Grunge, Ivory versus La Angel Los Pura, went to a DQ. Val Venus defeated Animal and Rico Constantino, sure. Billy Gunn and Chains teamed up to defeat Rikishi and Justice, again, sure. Kane defeated Al Snow. Scott Hall and Scott Steiner teamed up to take on Mark Henry and Funaki. I guess Steiner turned babyface, maybe. And a very interesting event as Spike Dudley, William Regal, and Undertaker defeated Christian and Street to the Suburbs, which is Homicide and Spanky. So not the best show for them, 82. Not terrible either, but very interesting. Okay, so outside of that, so for our, I'm sort of going to run through this because there's not much going on at this point. Anyway, Wildside, only interesting note is one of the people working for Wildside, not for us, won the NWA World Tag Titles. Outside of that, same stuff they've been doing. People are kind of getting there, but not quite as far as coming to the main roster. Same thing with the weekly house show, nothing really of note. Regen, Kurt Stallings is getting there. Austin Creed is doing really well, but again, he's basically a rookie. And yeah, again, not really much going on. Same thing with our women's dev fed. We got a weekly show. Tracy Taylor defeated Annette Blanchard. Remember, Annette's a regen. Annette Singer defeated Carla Chambers. Miss Molly defeated Cindy Rogers. And Ariel retained the AKB title over Becky Bayless. Bayless got a 47. Ariel got a 75. Fun stuff. So yeah, if we go to HWA, they had their weekly show. Again, Jorge Estrada defeated Cheech. in a main event in a TNA show, I'm sure. Falabon, of course, they teamed the two Indian guys, or the two South Asian guys, to beat Billy Back and Derek Corbin. Sean Devery, Daniel Rodimer, and Dustin Lee defeated Alex Shelley, Drew Onyx, and he was young. Silas Young. So, 6 people, well, some of them who have had shockingly long careers in wrestling, considering. Ricochet and Page defeated Excalibur, and yeah, that's about it. For the HWA, then for OVW, I think I showed you, I always forget. No, okay, so they had this show on Sunday. Not really much different than their regular matches. Margaret Keith is another region who has no real good stats, so probably not going to deal with her. But yeah. Shannon Taylor defeated Elise Velez, Capitol and Shirkway defeated the A Squad, Daniel Peter, Mitch Page defeated Tony Malik and Shaggy Two Dope, Liz Ward defeated Riptide. And then for the weekly loop shows, again, nothing really of note. John Cena is still stuck on the pre-show, even though he's getting 63s, which is really weird. Captain Shark Boy, Danny Peter defeated Mafia, Great Andy Dorn defeated Mitch Page. Same thing for the weekly loop show on Saturday. Tony Malik versus BG Whitmer, that's a Ring of Honor match if I've ever heard of one. Yeah, Danny Dorn defeated Daniel Pewter. So interesting there. But yeah, not much really going on. Let's see here. Oh, outside of that, Impact did have another show. Remember, they lost their TV because they're Impact. But they are doing monthly pay-per-views. So we had Impact Rebellion. We had Quiet Storm defeat Alexander Atkinson in 29. Atkinson is a region. Quiet Storm is Quiet Storm. We had Giant Singh and Christopher Nowinski defeat Brent Albright and Derek Sparrow. Weird match. Yeah. We had The Miz defeated Jesus Castillo Jr., so good stuff for The Miz. We had Amazing Red, Hulk Hogan, and Marcus Meltek defeat David Flair, El Condor, and Mike Sampson. Yep. I don't know what to tell you here, folks. Then Buff Bagwell defeated Carly Colon in a 44, and the main event, Lex Luger defeated Shiver, aka Glacier, in a 35. Yeah, Impact's not doing great. They might not last that long, honestly, until they sign some other people. Only other really thing of note is Pro Wrestling Integrity had a good term. Integrity is basically the Ring of Honor company I made after Ring of Honor was bought by Rob Black. So they have Vito Foncelli defeated Emilio Cortez. Eddie Colon defeated Brian Gamble. David Young, John Moxley, and Davey Richards defeated Mozon Fontaine, James Storm, and Incognito. Yep. We had Marcus Meltek defeat Spud McKenzie and Jolly Roger. Damaja defeated Brian Logan. John Walters defeated Colin Colon. Matt Striker and Tyler Raven defeated Basham and Moore for the Champions of Integrity title. Shane Ballard and Cody Cena defeated Flash and John Phoenix. And Perry Saturn retained the Champion of Integrity title in a 53 over Shane Ballard, Mark Merrow, and Jerry Lynn. So, yeah. I think outside of that, let's see here. Empro had a big show. Great Suzuki versus Gato was their main event. You had Hideka Nishida defeat Shiny Makabe. Jun Suzuki and Kikuzumi defeated Kira and Kichiro Arai. And Tiger Mask 4 defeated Dick Togo. So, and Bruce defeated Jun Katsai. Yes, that's a match that happened in this world. Wacky stuff. Very interesting wacky stuff. And I think outside of that, let's see here. I always forget if there's other big shows going on. Let's see here. Impact, Rebellion. Yeah, not really. Not really much else going on. So yeah, again, as a check on our storylines, Against the Darkness is at 69. Chosen Backgrounds is at 87. Cruiser Stuff is at a 48. Evolution is a Mystery, which we probably need to blow off here, is at 87. Goldberg's a Thriller is at an 89. Mayhem Showdown is at a 69. Praise the Predator is at an 84. Top Guy Stuff's at an 87. Raiden Chavo and Fury Feuds at a 72. And Advocate, which is Ray versus RVD, is at an 85. Captivating Champions is at a 74. European Skies at a 81. Helping Your Understudies is at a 63. Not Quite a Triumvirate, which is Booker, Kidman, Storm, and Shelton's at an 82. Revolution Rising is at an 83. The AMW Foods at an 80-41, which I might actually end it and move the Hardys over. Walking the Path is at a 65, and there you go. So that's for now. Enjoy this. Go leave a like, comment below, or liking, not liking, it's our channel. For honestly, mostly this for the time being. As the weather gets back to fall, might do more stuff, but it's still nice out, so I'm not doing, trying to avoid being on the computer all the time. But hey, as it gets cold out here in Seattle, who knows what might happen. But that's it for now. So talk later, and adios. Have a good one.